Okay, so welcome to question 4, 2015 paper 1, part A. So again, I'm assuming that you're going to have attempted this question in advance. It's a 15C question, so it's worth 15 marks obviously, and that's the breakdown there, 0, 3, 10, 5. So you're hoping at least to get the attempt of 3. Now, I know here, okay, the word solve means they want to find the actual value of x. I can solve it because it is an equation, so it has an equal sign. Okay. I know this is a quadratic equation because the x has a power of 2, and that's the biggest power. And straight away I'm going, right, I'm going to try to solve this using some method. Okay. Now they say here that your answer is going to be a decimal, so I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to use the minus b formula. Now I could try open up the two brackets, the method here, two brackets, and look for what number multiplies to give 4 and adds to give minus 6. So multiplies to give minus 4 and adds to give plus 6, but it's not going to work. Okay. You'll eventually realize that fact, and you'll go and use the minus b formula. So to use the minus b formula, I have it here. It's in the maths tables as well, but I need to know what a, b, and c are. Now, a is the number in front of the x squared, so in this case, a will be 1. B is the number in front of the x, so b is equal to plus 6. And c is the value at the end, so c is equal to negative 4. Okay, so we're going to look at the answer here. I've done it here. I've written out the quadratic itself for the question. I've written out the general form, okay, and then identified a, b, and c. Written out my formula, and then plugged the numbers in. Okay. Now you can't put this whole thing to the calculator because this plus or minus, but you can put this whole square root in and go straight to the answer then. Okay. So I'm going to end up ultimately with minus 6 plus or minus square root of, now I'm going to jump to here, assuming you have used the calculator, you're going to have got the value of square root of 20. So minus 6 plus or minus square root of 20 all divided by negative 2. Now if you put this in the calculator, okay, you're going to go one of two ways. One way with the plus sign and one way with the negative sign. So there's going to be always two answers from quadratic. And I ultimately, by putting them to the calculator, I find out that x is equal to either 5.2 or x is equal to 0.8. Okay, and that's correct to already correct to one decimal place. Okay, so that's part A. Now part B here. Now this diagram I put here on the right is just showing. I'm going to use it for illustration. It's not a diagram of the image here. It wouldn't be given on the exam paper. But they're now changing to use function notation. So they say find the coordinate. Now a coordinate is an x and a y point of the turning point. Now a turning point is where it stops going up, starts going down, or stops going down, starts going up. Okay, I'm going to look at that in a bit more in a second. But the function equals minus x squared plus 6x plus 4, the one we had earlier. Now if you wanted to, you could call that fx, you change that and call it y. Okay, now just that makes it more familiar. Okay, and here they said the x number for x can be any number. Now, as I said, okay, if you don't like using function notation, go back and use y notation. I'm going to go through, I suppose, a problem-solving technique here, or a series of logical steps. But that particular equation here, it's a quadratic. Okay, the image here I'm showing you is of a cubic equation. So this quadratic only has one turning point. That's either a max or a min. Now, a minus x squared. Do I have a plot of the next one? Okay, I actually have a graph here. Okay, this is the actual curve we're looking at, graphed. Now again, you won't have that. You won't have time to draw it. But a negative x squared quadratic looks like a mountain. A positive x squared function looks like a valley. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this logic. What the first point is that at the turning point, the slope of that curve is 0. Now, once you think of slope in maths, it's going to be differentiation. So if I take my original equation and I differentiate it, I'll get a new equation. Now I've done it here, so the minus x squared becomes minus, let's go through it, I suppose, power by number front, so 2 times minus 1 is minus 2. Let's start there. Take 1 from the power, so 2 take away 1 is 1. So minus x squared always differentiates to give minus 2x. Now 6x differentiates to give just number 6. We learn off that x disappears. When you're differentiating a constant or a number on its own, it turns to 0, so it's gone. So this new equation describes the slope, okay, at any point. Now we're not concerned with any point, we're concerned with the maximum point, or the turning point, okay. So at the turning point, the slope is 0. So once we've made that cop now, I've differentiated to find the slope equation. I'm putting that slope equation equal to 0, because at the turning point, the slope is 0. I end up with this equation here, Okay. Now that's the equation of one unknown. It's easy solved. I bring the 2x across. It was subtracted on the right, becomes added on the left. Okay. You end up then with, I'm going to bring the 2 across. The 2 was multiplied on the left, becomes divided on the right. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. So I'm almost there. I found the x part of the coordinate. I now need to find the y part. And here's where that knowledge earlier. We said that, well, sure, fx is the same thing as y. So if I want to find what y is, I take my newly found x value, plug it into the equation. The answer will be equal to y. So therefore I found y. Now I've kept using function notation here. So I'm putting the 3 in as the input. But it goes in instead of the x throughout the equation. Put that through the calculator. Okay, out comes the answer of 5. And that gives me the turning point is at 3, 5. Now, from the graph, we can tell that that's the case, because that's the point. So it's 3 on the x, okay, 5 on the y. Okay. Again, you wouldn't have the graph drawn in reality, so you have to go a calculation. And that's the concept of max and mins. Look, I'm almost certain it's going to come up. There was a year, I think it's 2014, we'll be going through later on, and it comes up like multiple times. Okay, in different parts. Okay, so it's really important that you know what that concept is. Now, use your answers to parts A and B above to sketch the curve y equals f of x. So basically draw the curve. Show your scale on both axes. So you have to decide your scale. Okay. Now, I've done it there, okay, because we know 3 things about the graph. We know where it crosses the x-axis at 5.2, okay, roughly there, and at 0.8, roughly there. And we know its turning point is 3, 5, so I know this point here. So if I know those 3 points, I can label them on the graph, and then just go draw a line through them, a curved line, okay. Now, we're human, so do the best you can. Okay, it's not straight. You can't do 2 straight lines. That's not what's going on here, okay. It is curved. So this is part C. Oh, okay, it's 5B for part C, 5B for parts, 5C for part B, and 15 for part A. Okay, so look, pretty good, easy enough question if your algebra is decent. Okay, so thanks very much.